how much does the man who holds the reins of an entire country earn? The man who signs off on decisions affecting millions of people, who resides in a palace guarded by hundreds of security personnel, who travels on a private plane funded by public money. How much does he actually take home at the end of the month? If you asked anyone which country pays its head of government the highest salary in the world, they would tell you the United States, or perhaps France, or the UAE. But the correct answer will surprise you. It's Singapore, a country spanning no more than 720 square kilometers with a population of fewer than 6 million people. Yet its prime minister receives an official salary of $1.7 million per year. Yes, $1.7 million per year from public funds, officially and transparently. To put that number in context, the President of the United States, the most politically powerful man in the world, earns $400,000 a year. That means the Prime Minister of Singapore earns roughly 4 times the salary of the U.S. President. How can such a small country afford to pay this enormous sum? Singapore's answer is simple and straightforward. They want the best people in power, and they believe that high salaries prevent corruption. Their philosophy is that if you pay your officials like the private sector, they won't need to take bribes. And the result? Singapore consistently ranks very high in global transparency and low corruption indexes. But this philosophy has not been without criticism. Many Singaporean citizens have wondered over the years, does any government official truly deserve this amount? In 2012, under genuine public pressure, salaries were reduced by up to 36% for some positions, but even after the reduction, they remained the highest in the world by a significant margin. And more important than the salary itself, what do these officials receive on top of that? That is where the real story begins in every country, not just Singapore. $400,000 per year. That is the official salary of the President of the United States since 2001. Before that, it was $200,000 for decades. But this number alone tells you nothing real about what the U.S. President actually earns. On top of the base salary, the President receives $50,000 annually as an expense allowance, $100,000 as a non-taxable travel allowance, and an additional $19,000 for official entertainment. And all of this is publicly disclosed and codified in U.S. law. But what is rarely mentioned in these figures is that the U.S. President lives for free in the White House, a building whose annual maintenance costs run into the tens of millions of dollars. He travels on Air Force One, which costs over $200,000 per hour to operate. He has a team of chefs, a medical team, top-tier security, and advisors available around the clock. All of this entirely outside his salary. Donald Trump announced before taking office in 2016 that he would forego his $400,000 salary, and he did, at least officially. He accepted a symbolic salary of $1 per quarter and donated the rest to various government departments. The amount that officially went into his pocket was nearly zero. But does that mean he truly worked for free? Trump spent dozens of weeks at golf courses he personally owned, which meant the U.S. government paid him for hotel bookings for his accompanying security team. Some reports suggest these amounts exceeded $2 million during his first term. He gave up a $400,000 salary and recouped many times that from other sources. In a similar vein, Javier Milei, the Argentine president who came to power in 2023, on a platform of shrinking the state, announced he would significantly cut his salary. In a country suffering from a severe economic crisis and inflation exceeding 100%, this signal was politically important, but it did little to change the bigger picture. Even more striking is the case of leaders in some Gulf and Arab countries, where the official salary is in some cases almost symbolic compared to the personal wealth these rulers possess. But this leads us to a deeper question. Is salary the true measure of what a head of state actually earns? In most countries around the world, the official salary of the president is the smallest and least important part of the overall picture. In-kind benefits, what the president receives in non-monetary form, are often worth many times the official salary. Take housing, for example. The French president lives in the Élysée Palace in central Paris, a sprawling palace with dozens of rooms, lavish gardens, and a service staff of over 800 people. The rental value of this property in Paris? Unimaginable. And none of this is part of the official salary of about 180,000 euros per year. In Britain, the Prime Minister lives at 10 Downing Street in the heart of London and also has a country retreat known as Chequers for weekends, both fully funded by public money. His official salary is around £170,000, but the benefits paint a completely different picture. Travel is perhaps the most financially striking benefit. The U.S. president alone travels on a plane that costs over $200,000 per hour to operate. Some presidential trips last 10 hours or more each way. Simply transporting the president from one point to another costs more than the entire annual salary.